Solving a quadratic by graphing. Here we have a graph, and our problem statement says the graph shows the height and feet of an object above the ground t seconds after it was launched from the ground. That means it was launched from the ground at position 0, it goes up with time, and it comes back down after it reaches its vertice or vertex, the highest point maximum. We're going to solve this by graphing. So what I want you to do is choose on or home, new document, select no, and then graph. We have 4 different choices. One of these choices is going to match this graph. We have to graph each one of these and select the one that matches this particular graph. So we have to start with choice A. So let's type in -16 x, I'm using x for t, x squared minus 64x, and press enter. Now what I would like to do is set my y-axis and my x-axis to the correct heights. You can see that this graph doesn't go over 64. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose menu 4 and 1 for Windows settings, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make my y max setting 64 because this graph shouldn't show above 64. Okay, now then, this makes it a little more readable. As you can see, this graph that we just plotted is in quadrant 2. Okay, our graph that we're interested in is in quadrant 1. So we know right away that choice A is incorrect. Now let's choose tab and up arrow, and we're going to edit. We're going to edit our function. So I'm going to backspace out everything. The first part stays the same. So it's going to be plus 128 times x minus 256. And I'm going to press enter. And this time, this graph, you can barely see it here at the bottom. Well, we can zoom down if we wanted to, but our graph should be in quadrant 1. That is quadrant 4. So automatically we know this is the incorrect solution. Now we're going to press tab again. I'm going to arrow up and I'm going to edit my function. This time I'm going to do the -16 plus 64t, or choice C. So plus 64x, in this case we're using x for t. Press enter. And look here, this one looks right. It stops at about 64. At 0 we have 0, and at x equals 4 we have 0. Okay, this looks like a really good choice. How can we check this? Well, we can check it by looking for the 0 here, the 0 here, our solutions, and we can check it by the maximum. Okay, so let's check the maximum first. The maximum should be 64. As you can see here, we have 64 at time t2. Okay, so I'm going to choose menu, analyze graph, number 6. I'm going to choose maximum, number 3, and I have to box this in. So I put my upper bound on the left side, or my lower bound on the left side, and my upper bound on the right side of the vertice, and it's at 2 and 64. 2 and 64, so I know that that is correct. And I can see that here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so my zeros are at 0 and 4, but the way to check it is again choose 6 to analyze graph. This time choose 0 because we're choosing zeros are our roots, our solutions. So 1, we enter our bounds. Our lower bounds is the left side of 1, 0, the right side of the same 0, and it says okay, 0, 0. That is correct. It matches. Okay, and then I can do this again one more time. 1, or menu 6, analyze graph. Choose 1 for 0, and this time I want to choose my right hand 0. So the left bounds, the upper bounds, and it says 4 and 0, 4, 0, and so we know we're correct. This graph, it does indeed match this graph, so we know solution C is our correct answer. Another way you can look at this is you can open the table. Press Control T and it brings up the table, and you can see our x values at y equals 0, or at x equals 0 we have 0, at x equals 2 we have 64, and at x equals 4 we have 0 again. So we can check it by the table method.